propagate. All right. Give me a sec. Just propagating. A little bit of propagation. Let me fix this over here. All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. Let's see. Let's make sure we are live. Let us make sure we are live. Let's see. Audio's working? Audio's working. All right. Let's take a look and see if we're live on the X. Are we live on the X? All right. Oh, live on the X. Audio's working. Are we live on the Twitch? Yes, we are live on the Twitch. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Let me just get these announcements out, and then we can get ourselves started, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy pre-Christmas Eve, ladies and gentlemen. Pre-Christmas Eve. It's like the before part. All right. Let's see here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. All right. All right. Let's get this over here. All right. Put this over here. All right. And then put this over here. Bop right there. There we go. Boom. All right. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Let's get the announcements out. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today, man. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. It's Tuesday, isn't it? Yes. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me just get myself all set up here. All right. All right. Get this over here. Boom. Boom, right there. All right, there we go. There we are. There we go, right there. Oh, excuse me, actually. Let me edit this. There we go. TRIB up 83%. Nice. Looks like it's climbing its way on up there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Let me just get all these little messages out, and then we should be ready to go. Hold on. All right. There we go. Boom, right there. Okay. Okay, there we go. Boom, right there. All right. All right. Let's get this set up over here. Okay. Looking good. All right. Looking good. Let's just get everything all set up over here. Make sure everything's copacetic. Yeesh. There we go. Get this over here. All right. Let's see. Get this here. Boom. Right there. All set. All right. Let's get this intro started. What's up, guys? It's Double Nix, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I am your host with the most. They call me DBL Nix in the house, aka the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Other times she likes to regular ski. Sometimes she likes to get shot out the cannon and she goes, whee! Other times she likes to go to RBs and watch videos of puppies and kitties. Other times she likes to go and chill at Wendy's. Other times she likes to steal my lo mein. And other times she'll go into the stock market and she'll find the ABCDs. Because after all, she did call some wonderful stocks like OPTX, KAVL, and TIVC. We call her DBL Moms. All right, so that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Yes, sir. Good morning, Knight. How you doing, man? Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. Yeesh. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you are doing well. All right, so let's get ourselves all set. Get ourselves all set and ready to go. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeesh. So, Marty says, hello, legend. Hello, hello, Marty. Much love, man. Much love. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Hope all you guys are doing well, man. Yes, sir. All right. So, let's take a look at some stonks here real quick. But before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We were just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. So, yeah, let's take a look over here. Let's take a look at a couple of stonks here. First things first, we're going to take a look at TRIB. TRIB, actually, we called a couple of stonks today. So, we called OPTX prior to its run up 61%. 61%. Boom, right there. So, we called that. We called KAVL, which ran up a nice 65%, 65% right there. Boom, right there. All right. TIVC, which ran up a nice 51%, 51% right there. All right. And then we called TRIB, which ran up a nice 83% recently. TRIB ran up 83%. So that's what we got going on there, folks. That is what we got going on in terms of the stock market itself. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to the first 100. Let's get to the first 100, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's take a look at TRIB. TRIB was on a bit of an uptrend, is above the VWAP, has some news that Trinity Biotech shares are trading higher after the company announced it was awarded an order of $9 million for 9 million Trin screen HIV tests. So they got that going on. Also, they have some unconfirmed Q2 earnings for due in 14 days from now on January 6th before the market opens. So we got that going on right there. Boom. All right. So we got an uptrend over here for TRIB. A little bit choppy as of now. A little bit choppy. It has a bit of a red candle over here, but it is a bottom tail. So we'll see what happens there. Can it continue to move up? Can it remain friends with the trend? Let's see. TRIB does need to remain friends with the trend as of now. Needs to remain friends with the trend. And let's take a look at that float. The float is 14 million. Volume is 53 million. So we got that going on right there. Let's take a look at Hi-Ho. H-I-H-O. Hi-Ho, as Kermit the Frog would say. So, Hi-Ho right there. Float is 3 million. Volume is 7 million. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on right there. So we're going to take a look at that right there. It is on the uptrend right here. Boom. HIHO up 73% as of now. HIHO, yeah, it moved up nicely. It was up 74% earlier in the day. So we got that going on. Let's take a look. Let me just put that up over here. HIHO on the uptrend. Up 91% now, too. Up 92%. Ooh, 92%, 95%. Oh my, up 95%, ladies and gentlemen. Got to keep a nice close eye on the stunk. DBL moms, keep an eye on the stunk. I do have a request. So keep an eye on the stunk. See if it goes up above 100. Because if it does, it's a bagger. You know what I mean? So, yeah, keep an eye on it, ladies. Keep an eye on it. Now, somebody requested BMRA. Legal, good morning. Good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day, Legal. Hope you're doing well. BMRA. BMRA. Let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look. All right. So let's take a look over there. See what we got going on. So BMRA currently up and a bit choppy, a little bit choppy over here, but it does have news that BioAmerica shares are trading higher after the company. What? Hi-ho! Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. We're going to take a look at hi-ho, and then we'll be right back to that. Oh my, HIHO bagger, baby. HIHO. Make sure to let everybody know. 100% baggernomics, baby. Ooh. HIHO. New bagger, baby. HIHO. New bagger. Called it, baby. Yeesh. All right. HIHO. New bagger. Up 100%. 100%, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. Right there. There we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. Called that for the private Discord. Let me refresh this real quick. HIHO ran up nicely. Pulling back a little bit, but still moving its way on up. Still curling a little bit. Keep an eye on it while I take a look at BMRA again. Let me take a look at BMRA. BMRA. Let's take a look at BMRA. So, BMRA, as of now, a little bit choppy. Low volume on the stunk right here. BMRA has news that BioAmerica shares are trading higher after the company announced a CMS Medicare payment rate of $300 for its in-foods IBS test. So we got that going on right there. Currently is above the well, actually no, it is below the VWAP now, but it kind of was above the VWAP at a time. There was a time where it was, so it does have some news going on there. Let's take a look at the float and volume. Float is 2.6 million, volume is 1.2 million. So as of now, this has some very low volume. The float is higher than the volume. The float is reasonable, but the volume is low. So as of now, BMRA needs some volume, really, for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. BMRA, very choppy, needs some volume. Choppy. Needs volume to keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. MAMO, 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 ladies and gentlemen, MAMO currently has a bit of a top tail. Did have a price spike on some low volume, but as of now has a bit of a top tail going on here. We don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails. MAMO had a price spike on low volume. Needs to remain friends with the trend over here that I'm going to draw bot right here for it to be so much schmexy to mya. Otherwise, it's you know what I mean? Not something schmexy to mya. You know what I mean? Not schmexy to mya. So, needs to break above that VWAP. Needs to remain friends with the trend. Needs to do all that for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Let's take a look at hi-ho once again. Let's take a look at hi-ho. Oh, yeesh. So, currently, it is up 90%. Did have a nice high of 100% going on right there. Let's get some support and resistance lines for it. Let's get some support and resistance lines for it right here. Bop and bop right there. So, has some support at 148. Has resistance at 169. Needs to break that 169 for it to be so much maxi to mya. HIHO needs to remain friends with the trend. HIHO needs to remain friends with the trend. So we got that going on right there. HIHO doing its thing right there. Let's take a look at TRIB. TRIB. There we go. All right. So TRIB as of now still kind of friends with the trend right now. Still kind of friends with the trend. Needs to remain going upward right now. Kind of consolidate a little bit, nothing crazy. So needs to continue its move on upward though. Needs some more volume for it to continue to keep climbing its way on up. TRIB needs some volume to keep climbing. All right, let's get a share party going. Let's get the 300. Let's get the 300, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 300, ladies and gents. Let's get the 300. 300. OPTX. Let's take a look over here. OPTX is on a bit of a downtrend, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a downtrend. Fell below the VWAP right over here. Looks like it did have a bit of a Quasimodo type of shoulder, head, and shoulder over here. So you got over here the shoulder, bop, right here. The head right over here, right? And then you had a little bit of a shoulder right around this area right here. And then it kind of just started moving down, broke below the VWAP. Didn't look too schmexy by that point. So it needs to break the downtrend. So OPTX needs to break the downtrend for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. So TIVC, let's take a look at TIVC. TIVC also needs to break the VWAP. Also needs to break the VWAP because it fell below it, but it does need to break this little descending wedge over here. Has a bit of a descending wedge forming over here, so can it curl? Maybe we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. TIVC needs to break above the VWAP. TIVC needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAP. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on with TIVC. Let's take a look at a fan favorite, ASST. A lot of people have requested that I take a look at this. Not a lot of volume going on with ASST. Hasn't had much volume for quite a while, but you know, people love it, so I take a look at it. ASST needs a lot of volume to become somewhat schmexy to mya. A lot of people also requested BYND. Let's take a look at BYND. BYND, let's take a look over here. Very, very choppy. A lot of indecisiveness. A lot of barcoding. Not looking too schmexy to mya. So you got this over here, and you got this over here. Has to break the channel. Has to do all that. BYND needs to break the barcoding for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya with some volume. So there we go. Bop, right there. All right, now, next up on the old hit parade, let's take a look at OPEN, very choppy and below the VWAP. Needs volume to break the VWAP and the consolidation. So open needs volume to break the consolidation and the VWAP right there. Boom. Got that going on right there. Let's take a look at TRIB. TRIB, how's TRIB looking? TRIB. Let's refresh. Let's refresh the old screen. Right there. Right there. All right. So as of now, TRIB is still on a bit of an uptrend here. Still on a bit of an uptrend right now, climbing its way on up 79%. Looks like it's trying to climb its way back up again. We'll see what happens here. TRIB slightly curling its way on back up. TRIB, it's still a bit overbought in the RSI, but that's fine. It is what it is as long as it continues to go back up. So TRIB curling back up. Possible high test right there. So we got that going on right there. Let's get some support and resistance lines over here for TRIB. Bop right here, bop right there. So it's got some support at $1.49, resistance at $1.67, and that's what it's got going on right there. That is what it's got going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. All right. So as of now, TRIB needs volume, needs some volume for it to really continue to climb its way back up. And it looks like it's trying to. It is definitely trying to right now. So we'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Oh my, looks like it's breaking above it right now. 89%. 89%. All right. 91%. 93. There we go. TRIB. 93% right now. Broke the high a day. 93%. Come on now. TRIB needs to break above, actually, no, broke above the high of day, up 93%. Can it continue? Can it continue, ladies and gentlemen? Can it continue? Yes, sir. TIVC, TIVC. There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. TIVC needs to break this descending wedge right here. TIVC still needs to break the descending wedge. All right. All right, all right, all right. Yeesh. All right. All right. So let me take a look over here. Let me see what else. TRIB doing its thing once again. Let's see what's going on with it. Oh my. Oh my. It's testing the high again. It's testing the high again. It's testing. It's testing. 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 It's pressing. It's pushing. It's blowing. It's blowing. it's pushing, it's pushing, it's pumping, it's pumping.
Come on now.
Come on now.
ABCD.
Can it continue?
Come on, Serengeti Special.
Come on. Come on.
Come on, Serengeti.
Come on. You got to give him a round. Hey, no. Hit him with a louder one. There we go. That's what I like to hear.
That's the deadly one right there.
That's the deadly one right there. Yes, sir. All right. So TRIB. It's trying to climb. It's trying to climb. It's trying. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 600, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 600.
Push it, baby. Come on now.
Yeesh. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. Yep. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. And if you sign up, you get access to a wonderful scanner with amazing, the stock ticker tape with our, picks. You get access to picks, you get access to the automated scanner, you get access to the newsroom, all of which are wonderful research tools for the stock market, right? And you also get access to an amazing community of people, all of which are trying to improve not just themselves, but uplift each other. It is a wonderful community to be a part of. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check that out as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, you get access to this exclusive scanner over here for the real-time alerts and scanners, right? You get access to the newsroom, you get access to the ticker tape, you get access to all sorts of hyperlinks and links to basically gain information and intel, because knowledge is power in this economy. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. Knowledge is power in the stock market in general. You know what I mean? So you got to do that, ladies and gentlemen. Got to have that right there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And you know, it's a very educational community right there. So as of now, TRIB tested that high a day, and then formed a double top right over Mya. So needs to break above that double top area for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. And yes. Let's see what we got over here. Needs to remain friends with the trend though. TRIB was testing the high a day, was a bit extended. So it did have that going on for it right there. So TRIB, all right. So we got that going on right there. TRIB needs to break above the double top and test the high of day once again. And I know as soon as I look away from it, it's probably going to try to do something funny, huh? All right, let's see what we got going on here with JFB. Let's take a look over here. Double top right there. All right, double top right there. So we got that going on right there. Is very, very low volume. A lot of indecisive wicks going on with JFB. Not looking too schmexy to me. JFB, low volume. JFB needs more volume to remain above the VWAPA. And I got a message here from Alex Martinez. Hi-ho is starting to curl. Yes, sir. Let's take a look at HIHO. As of now, HIHO went up nicely all the way up to $1.69 right there. All right. And then had a bit of a double top at around the 162 mark. Dropped it. Yeah, dropped this way back down, and now it looks like it's doing a descending wedge bull reversal right here. All right, has to break that VWAP. So needs to break that descending wedge, break above the descending wedge bull reversal, and to top it off, needs to break that VWAP. So HIHO needs to break that descending wedge bull reversal. Break above it right there. Above that descending wedge bull reversal and the VWAPA. Oh my. Wait, what the hell? All right. VWAPA. What the heck? Okay. No, we didn't lose that. I don't know. Why is this thing not working? What? Nothing. I gotta figure something out here. Hold on. What is this? Get rid of that. What is that doing here? What is this? What is that? What the heck is going on? Yeah. Give me 1 second. I just gotta like smack the street. Come here. Hey. Hey. There you go. There he is. Now it wants to work. Now I gotta retype that all over again. That's a pain in the butt. HIHO needs to break above that descending wedge bull reversal, and the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. All right, so we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on. NVOX, NVOX. Let's see how NVOX is doing. NVOX is above the VWAPA, has an unknown amount of float. Volume is 801,000. Looks like, is this a potential, is this an IPO that came out recently? I don't know, but it has an ABCD pattern over here. ABCD pattern, all right? Has that going on right there. Bop, right there. All right, and, oh, give me that. Give me that. Hey, shut up. There you go. Anyways, so, has that going on right there. Formed a bit of a descending wedge right over here. And then started to kind of curl its way on up a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. So, had that going on right there. Had that going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, as of now, it did have an ABCD into a descending wedge and curled its way on upward. There we go right there. NVOX curling off a descending wedge, needs volume to stay up. There we go. There we go. All right. So let's get some water. Let's take a look at OPTX. OPTX. Let's get a share party going, by the way. Let's get to 800. 800, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. OPTX looks like it's trying to curl off the descending wedge over here. Or the downtrend, excuse me. OPTX trying to curl off the downtrend. Can it break the VWAPA? Let's see. Let's see what it does, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what it does right there. TRIB. Let's go back to TRIB. See how it's doing right there. TRIB had a bit of a double toppage over here. Now it looks like it's going back to trying to test the resistance. Needs to break above 162, or excuse me, 172. Needs to break above 172 because there is a bit of a resistance there, so it has to break above that resistance. TRIB testing the resistance as of now. TRIB testing the resistance right there. Boom. Got that going on right there. All right. Let's see how TIVC is doing. TIVC trying to curl off the descending wedge slightly. TIVC trying to curl off that descending wedge. There we go. Got that going on right there. Trying to curl off that descending wedge. Can it curl? We shall see. We shall see. Let's take a look at HIHO. HIHO. HIHO still got to break above that VWAP. So HIHO. HIHO needs volume to break the VWAPA. Needs volume, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at NVOX. NVOX. How's NVOX doing? NVOX still friends with the trend, but it does have a red candle there. Needs to break this little point of resistance at 2330 right there. So NVOX needs to break a point of resistance. NVOX needs to break resistance over there. Okay, boom, right there. Let me actually get some support and resistance lines over here. Let's get some support and resistance lines. Bop, right here. All right. All right, there we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Needs to remain friends with the trend there for it to be so much maxi tumya. Otherwise, NVOX, man, you know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how HIHO is doing. Hi ho, HIHO curling above. It broke the VWAPA, curling above the little descending wedge there. So we got that going on right there. HIHO, testing resistance. Broke the VWAPA. Curling off the descending wedge. Bop. There we go. Needs to keep climbing. Needs to break that resistance right there for it to continue to be Shmexy Tumya. Yes, sir. Needs to continue doing that right there. Let's see how TIVC is doing. TIVC trying. It's trying. Still needs to break that descending wedge right there. TIVC needs to break the descending wedge. There we go. All right. Let's see. PCLA. Let's get a share party going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 900. 900. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. PCLA low volume. Very indecisive wicks on this little stonk over here. Randomly gapped up over here. And now is up 21%. But as of now, man. All right. PCLA. Curling upwards. Oh my, on very low volume. PCLA curling upwards on very low volume. Has a float of 31 million, volume of 194,000. Curling upwards on low volume. So they got that going on right there. PCLA moving up on low volume there. So let's see how TRIB is handling. TRIB. Let me get a pennant going on over here. Boom, right there. TRIB needs to break the pennant and the high of day right there for it to be Shmexy Tumya. So TRIB needs to break the pennant and the high of day. Boom, right there. Bop, right there. PCLA, how's PCLA handling? PCLA, still, yep, bottom tail. Got a bottom tail. It's still moving up on low volume. PCLA still moving up on low volume. Boom, right there. OPTX Optics, OPTX. There we go. All right. Needs to still break that downtrend. All right. Still needs to break the downtrend. Boom. Right there. All right. What else is there? What else is there? JFB. Right. JFB is above the VWAP, but still low volume. So JFB needs volume to stay above the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mia. That's what it needs right there. That is what it needs right there. And let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1,000. 1,000, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1,000, ladies and gents. PCLA. What's PCLA doing right now? PCLA up 72% now. 72%. Oh my. PCLA price spiked like a Dickens. All right. Price spiked like a Dickens right now. Just bop right there. All right. And then there we are. Needs to break the pennant right there. So PCLA needs to break that pennant now. Needs to break this pennant. PCLA low volume needs to break the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mia. There we go. Yes, sir. All right. PCLA was at one point up 86%. 86%. Let's get some support and resistance lines for it. All right. Over. Yeah. Right there. Boom. So, has support at 21 cents, resistance at 24 cents. Let's see what happens there. TRIB in the meantime. TRIB, let's take a look. TRIB still needs to break above that pennant. TRIB. TRIB still. TRIB still needs to break the pennant right there. Boom. Right there. There we are. Okay. All right. HIHO. HIHO. Still curling off that pennant right there. Moving its way on up slowly but surely. Broke the new resistance. HIHO. HIHO. Broke resistance off the descending wedge. All right. There we go. Boom. Got that going on right there. All right. So now that's done. Let's take a look at PCLA. PCLA. Dropping. Not looking schmexy. Not looking schmexy as of now. PCLA. Can it curl? PCLA needs volume to curl. Otherwise, it's just, man, you know how it goes. HIHO, what's going on with HIHO? HIHO shot up to 85%. Is it climbing? 85, 86, 86%. All right. It's doing the wiggle. It's doing the wiggle. HIHO needs to break. Yeesh. So, oh my. HIHO needs to break resistance. HIHO needs to break through some resistance. Bot right there. All right, I'll even draw some of it with the graffiti pencil because there's a little bit of resistance at the 86-cent mark right over there. Or, excuse me, at the 156-cent mark or 152-cent mark over there. Or 156, excuse me. There we go. All right, let's take a look. Let's see what else. What else we got? Let's see. Ooh, let me just get the stretch in. Ooh. All right. Let's see here. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 1300. 1300, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 1300. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so let's get a share party going. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as a pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so let's take a look at TRIB. In the meantime, TRIB needs to break above that pennant. Still needs to break above that pennant for it to be so much maxi to mya. TRIB still needs to remain. Still needs to break above the pennant for it to remain somewhat schmexy to mya. All right. OPTX. Still needs to break that downtrend there. OPTX, can it break the downtrend? Let's see. Let's see if it can. All right. TIVC still has that descending wedge. All right. So let's see here. TIVC needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAPA for it to be schmexy to mya. Can it curl? Let's see. We shall see. We shall see. Let's see how TRIB is doing. TRIB trying to curl. TRIB trying to curl as of now. Let's see what goes on. TRIB trying to curl as off the pennant. Trying to curl off that pennant right there. We shall see what happens. PCLA needs to break the VWAP. Needs to break the VWAPA. There we go. All right. Let's see how HIHO is doing. Hi-ho. Let's see. HIHO. HIHO needs to stay above the VWAP. HIHO needs volume to stay above the VWAPA. So you got that going right there. Let's take a look at NVOX. NVOX. Let's see here. NVOX trying to remain friends with the trend over here. Trying to, at least, has... Let me get this over here. NVOX over here. Needs to break above the resistance. Looks like it's trying to right now, NVOX. Let's see. Let's see what it do. Let's see about JFB. JFB. Let's take a look at JFB. JFB moving its way up on some very low volume. Still above the VWAP, but JFB is moving on very low volume. Moving on very low volume. So we got